The sky above planet Silora 9 was burning. Fireballs fell like rain. One by one, the last human ships left the planet. They escaped fast, too fast. Because something terrible had landed. It had no name on any human file, only whispers, only one title. Passed from soldier to soldier, the Tharn. A living nightmare, the galaxy's most feared beast. It moved without sound, killed without mercy. And it could not be stopped, but down on the surface, one girl was forgotten. Her name was Leah. Calder, only 17. A junior engineer. She had been fixing a power relay when the alarms began. By the time she got outside, the evac ships were gone. All of them. No one came back for her. The base was in flames. The skies screamed. And far in the distance, the mountains split open. The Tharn had arrived. Leah ran. She didn't scream. There was no one to hear her. She ran through black smoke and broken walls. Her only hope was an old emergency bunker deep under Sector 4. The Tharn would be sent to clear survivors. That's what it always did. It was not a mindless monster. It was used like a bomb, dropped into war zones, released into riots. Entire species had gone extinct after facing it. Leah had seen the footage once. Only once. It was enough to give her nightmares for months. The bunker was half buried in dust. She broke 2 fingers trying to pry the door open. But she didn't stop. Blood dripped from her knuckles as she crawled into the dark space. Inside, she found old food packs, a broken radio, and silence. She had water. She had air. She just had to stay quiet. Stay hidden and wait. But she knew deep inside, she wasn't alone on the planet. 12 hours later, the ground trembled. Leah held her breath. Something was above. A shadow passed by the cracks in the roof. Big, slow, silent. Then a second tremor. Closer. And then nothing. No sound. No footsteps. But she could feel it. Something breathing, watching. She didn't move. Time passed. Maybe minutes, maybe hours. And then a new sound. Clink. Something had been dropped outside the bunker hatch. Leah's hand moved to the emergency crowbar. She pushed open the door. Just a little. Her eyes widened. There on the dirt was a piece of dried protein bar from the emergency rations. But it wasn't hers. She never opened that pack. She looked up. There was nothing there. No wind. No sound. No beast. But the protein bar remained. The Tharn didn't kill her. It fed her. Days passed. She stayed in the bunker. But every few hours, something would appear near the hatch. A bottle of clean water, a sealed energy pack, even a blanket, all too clean. Too exact. Left by something smart, something that wanted her alive. One night she couldn't sleep. She stepped out. The stars above were clear. No ships, no sound, no hope. She looked around slowly. And then her breath stopped. There it was. The Tharn. 10 meters away. Still as stone. Huge. Black skin like armor. Eyes like glowing red glass. Long claws that shimmered in the starlight. It stood on 2 legs, but bent like a wild animal. Watching her. Waiting. Leah didn't move. The Tharn didn't either. For a long time. They just stood there, girl and beast, neither attacking, neither afraid. And then it took a step closer. She clenched her fists. Another step. It knelt down. Its claws touched the ground. Then slowly, it turned and walked away. Leah fell to her knees. She didn't know what to feel. Terror? Relief? Confusion? Why was she alive? Why wasn't she dead? The next morning, she followed the path the beast had taken. Her fear still trembled inside her chest, but curiosity pushed her forward. She walked past shattered buildings and cracked roads. And then, she saw it again. The Tharn was sitting by a small riverbed, quiet, still. Its back was to her. Leah stepped forward. One more step. Then another. It didn't turn. She was now just 5 meters away. Its head tilted slightly, like it heard her, but it still didn't move. She whispered, "Why?" Me, no answer. Of course not. It couldn't speak. She sat down on a rock. Her legs were shaking. But she sat. The thorn stayed still. Minutes passed. Then hours, neither moved. And then suddenly it stood. Leia stood too, frightened. But it didn't. Attack. Instead, it dropped something, a broken scanner. Human tech. She recognized it. It walked away again. Leia picked up the scanner. It had a small message saved on it. Subject number 13. Uncontrollable, unstoppable, no empathy. Terminate on sight. She looked up at the place where the Tharn had stood. Uncontrollable? Then why was it acting so? Calm? She went back to the bunker and powered up the scanner's memory. Most files were corrupted. But one video played, a lab. Screaming, fire. A young creature, small, weak, locked in a cage. It was the Tharn, only smaller, and around it. Human scientists. They were testing weapons on it. Electroshocks, pain, chemicals, trying to create the perfect, living weapon. Leia stared at the screen for a long time. The Tharn wasn't born. It was made. And made by humans. 2 days passed. The beast came closer each time, still silent. Still watching. But now Leia began to speak. She told it her name. She told it about the stars. About Earth. About music and rain and snow. She didn't know if it understood. But it listened. And that was more than she expected. Then came the ships, high above. Black dots appeared in the sky. Galactic Council craft. They had returned. But not for Leia. They came to kill the THARN. She heard the message on open comms. Engage creature. No survivors. Destroy all targets. She ran. She ran as fast as she could. She found the Tharn in the valley. It was standing in the open, like it knew what was coming. Run, she shouted. They'll kill you. But the beast didn't move. Instead, it turned to her. For the first time it made a sound. A deep, low growl. Not of anger, of sadness. She stepped forward. They think you're a monster, she whispered. But maybe they're wrong. She reached out her hand. The Tharn lowered its head and touched her palm. Then the sky lit up. Council fireships dropped down. Explosions tore the ground. Leia screamed. No! The Tharn shoved her behind a rock with one giant claw. It stood tall. And waited. The hunt had ended. But this time, the beast wasn't the hunter. It was the protector. Smoke still filled the air. Leia's ears rang from the last explosion. Her hands were over her head. She lay behind the sharp rocks where the Tharn had pushed her. Dust and heat stung her skin. Somewhere nearby, energy blasts shook the earth. But she wasn't afraid. Not of the beast. The fear now came from the ones above. The soldiers, the leaders, the powerful. They were scared. Because the galaxy's deadliest monster wasn't killing anymore. It was protecting. And it had picked her. The Tharn stood tall on the ridge. Its black skin glowed red under the burning sky. Deep lines cut across its chest from laser blasts. It didn't flinch. Its eyes locked onto the Council's. Drop squadron descending from the clouds. 12 soldiers, full armor. Plasma rifles. High-speed drones. The kind used to hunt mass killers. But this wasn't a killer anymore. Not like they thought. Unit Sigma. Target in sight, the commander's voice echoed. Orders confirmed. Eliminate the beast. If the girl resists, terminate. Both. Leia's breath caught. They wanted to kill her too? Because she had survived? Because the Tharn hadn't killed her? She stood slowly. Her legs shook, but she raised her hands. Wait, she shouted. Stop. No one listened. The soldiers opened fire. Blue plasma tore through the sky. The Tharn leapt. It moved faster than sound. Its body blurred through the air. In one blink, it crashed into the lead trooper. The man didn't even have time to scream. Then came the silence. Too fast. Too deadly. The council soldiers broke formation. They had trained for battle. Not for this. One was crushed under a claw, another thrown into the rocks. The third tried to fly away. A piece of metal struck him mid-air. His suit failed. He fell like a rock. Leah turned her face. She couldn't watch. It wasn't a fight. It was a message. You came for her. Now face me. Only one soldier remained. He raised his gun, his hands shaking. But the Tharn didn't strike. Step forward. 1. Step. 2. Then it stopped. It looked at him. The soldier dropped his weapon. And ran. The Tharn didn't follow. Leah stepped out from behind the rocks. She looked up at the beast. Its side was burned. Its left leg bled thick black fluid. But it didn't fall. It looked at her. And waited. Back in orbit, alarms rang across the council's warship. All units down, one officer whispered. Target unharmed. How? The commander barked. It could have killed more. But it didn't. It stopped. Everyone stared at the screen. The Tharn stood beside a human girl, not attacking, just standing. Leah led the Tharn back to the old bunker. She pulled out her last clean bandage. It wasn't enough. But the Tharn didn't stop her as she pressed it against its leg. You didn't kill them all, she whispered. The beast blinked slowly. She didn't know why she said it, but she did. Thank you. That night, the beast sat outside the bunker. Not inside. Hiding, like it was. Guarding the door. Like a silent watchman, like a soldier. The next day, Leah heard a voice from the broken radio. Unit Echo requesting survivor ID. Repeat, are you alive? She picked up the mic. Static buzzed. I'm here, she said. Leah. Called her. Human. Engineer. Alive. Pause. Then. You're with the Tharn? Yes. Pause again. Stay where you are. Rescue is coming. But her heart went cold. The voice wasn't calm. It was afraid. Hours passed. No rescue came. But something else did. A probe. Black metal. Silent. Floating. It hovered above the bunker. Leah stepped out. The Tharn rose beside her. The probe scanned them both. Then it blinked red. A new voice spoke from the sky. Subject identified. Leah called her. Category. High threat. What? Leah whispered. You survived full contact. Subject Tharn 13 shows signs of emotional restraint. Reclassification. Girl is potential biolink. What are you talking about? The probe continued. All biolinks must be eliminated. The probe's front glowed. A weapon charged. Leah screamed. But the Tharn was faster. Its body moved like lightning. The probe shattered into sparks. Leah fell to the ground, shaking. They think I'm part of you? She said. The Tharn looked down. No words. Just silence. But Leah felt something. Sadness. Later that day, Leah found an old device buried in the base ruins. A neural connector. It was illegal. Banned years ago. But still used in secret labs. She held it in her hands. It could connect two minds. Human and beast. She looked at the Tharn. I want to know what you are. She stepped forward. It didn't stop her. She placed the connector near its neck. Then near hers, the machine beeped. A bright white light filled her eyes. Suddenly, she wasn't on the planet anymore. She was inside a memory. Not her own. The Tharn's. She saw metal walls, cold cages. She saw the beast as a small creature. Locked away. Needles, screams, fire. Scientists in white coats. They shocked it. Beat it. Broke its bones. Over and over again. It grew bigger. But not stronger. Just angrier. Until one day, it broke free and everything burned. Leah pulled away. The light faded. She fell to her knees. Tears rolled down her face. You didn't choose to be this, she whispered. The Tharn knelt beside her. For the first time it looked small, not weak. Just tired. From above, a new group of eyes watched the feed. Leaders, scientists, generals. She connected with it. One said, She saw the memories. She's not controlling it, another whispered. It chose her. Back on the planet, Leah stood beside the beast. We can't stay here, she said. They'll keep coming. She looked at the sky. She didn't know where safety was, but she knew one thing. She wasn't alone, and the galaxy's most feared monster wasn't a monster anymore. The sun set. The girl sat beside the beast. And the beast closed its eyes, not to attack, but to rest, because it knew now someone saw it not as a weapon, but as something more. 3 days passed. The winds on planet Solora 9 had calmed, but Leah Calder's heart had not. She sat beside the Tharn in the old bunker ruins. It hadn't left her side once, not to hunt, not to sleep. It watched her like a guardian, a silent shadow above them. Council ships didn't return, not yet, but the silence wasn't safety, it was a warning. They're planning something, Leia said, looking at the sky. The Tharn didn't move. Its wounds from the last battle were nearly healed. No medicine, no bandages. Its body was strange, like it fixed itself. But Leia knew healing wasn't the same as peace. The galaxy didn't want peace with this creature. And now, not with her either. That night, Leah picked up the broken radio again. Unit Echo, this is Leah Calder, still alive, still human. No answer, only static. But just as she turned it off, a voice crackled. Through, we know. She froze. It wasn't a soldier. The voice was too calm, too sharp. Stay where you are. Your death has already been paid for. The radio died. Leia's heart pounded. She looked at the Tharn. They're not sending soldiers this time, she whispered. They're sending killers. 12 hours later, the air turned cold. Leah and the Tharn walked the canyon paths together, searching for supplies. That's when they heard it. A hiss. Not from above. From underground. The rocks behind them exploded. 3 shadows rose from the dust. Council assassins. But not just any assassins. Class X ELIMINATORS. Silent. Masked, half machine, half alien. Built to erase life. No questions, no warnings, no prisoners. Each one carried dark matter blades and void guns. Weapons too illegal to use in war, but allowed for one purpose: to clean up what the Council wanted to forget. The lead assassin pointed at Leia. She broke the link, he said. Her blood is corrupted. The second one stepped forward. Kill the girl. Capture the beast. If it resists, remove its core. The Tharn stepped between them. No growl. No warning. Just a single movement clause. Ready, Leah whispered. Run if you have to. But the Tharn stayed. The assassins attacked. The first came from above, blade flashing. The Tharn leapt and caught him mid-air. There was a loud crack. Metal crunched. The assassin's arm flew into the dirt. The second one teleported behind Leia. She turned too late, but before the blade struck, something hit the attacker in the back. The Tharn's tail. Single whip. The second assassin flew across the canyon wall. The third was faster, smarter. He charged a void blast and fired. The Tharn took the full hit. It didn't fall, but it stumbled. Smoke poured from its side. The assassin pulled a second blade. Now, Leah grabbed a rock and threw it. It bounced off the assassin's helmet. Useless, but it gave the Tharn time. It slammed its body forward like a cannon. The assassin dodged, but not fast enough. Claws tore through armor. Then silence. All 3 lay broken. For now, Leah dropped to her knees. Her ears rang. She looked up. The Tharn limped toward her. Black blood dripped from its back. Stop, she said. You're hurt. It knelt beside her. Its chest rose and fell slowly. Too slowly. She pulled off her jacket and pressed it against the burn. It didn't help, but she had to try. You didn't have to protect me, she whispered. The Tharn looked into her eyes, and she saw something strange. Guilt. That night, Leah sat beside the creature. She lit a small fire with broken wiring. She spoke in a low voice. When you were in the labs, they hurt you. And when you broke out, they called you a monster. The Tharn didn't blink. They made you, then blamed you. Still nothing. But you never chose to kill me. She looked down at her hands, and I'm starting to think. You never wanted to kill anyone. The Tharn lowered its head, not in shame, in agreement. That same hour, far above, a council station lit up. Assassins down. What? A general shouted. 3 Class X eliminators, all dead. Target survived. A silence fell in the room. Someone whispered, "It's bonding with her." Another added, "If they stay together, it might learn more than loyalty. It might learn purpose." The general's face darkened. "Send in Protocol Omega." Everyone froze. "That's a death sentence," one scientist said. "She's just a girl. She's a link to the beast. That's enough." Back on the planet, Leah felt a chill in the air. The fire had gone out. The sky was too quiet. She sat up, alert. Then she saw it. A light. Far off, moving, no sound. Just glow. She stood. The Tharn stood beside her. "What is that?" She whispered. The light grew brighter. Then more lights appeared. Not ships. Not soldiers. Drones. Thousands of them. Flying low. Silent. Perfectly sensed. She grabbed the scanner. It flashed red. Protocol Omega. Target removal via swarm purge. No survivors. Her eyes widened. They're going to wipe this whole area out. The Tharn stepped forward, but Leia grabbed its arm. Double quotes. "No, you can't take them all." It looked down at her. "No, listen to me." The sky lit up. A countdown appeared on her. Scanner. 60 seconds. She looked around, then back at the Tharn. "We run." Now, they ran through the canyon. The swarm followed. Tiny machines, each one sharp as a blade, fast as sound, designed to shred anything living. Leah ducked under a rock ledge. The Tharn smashed through a wall. The swarm split, followed both paths behind them. The world melted. Rocks turned to ash. Metal turned to smoke. But still, they ran. After 10 minutes, Leah collapsed. Her lungs burned. The Tharn grabbed her gently and carried her into a cave. Inside, the walls blocked the scanner signals. For now, they were hidden. Safe? Maybe, but only for a little while. Leah looked up at the creature. Her voice was weak. "They want me gone, because I'm with you." The Tharn didn't speak, but she knew what it felt. She had seen its memories, and now it had seen hers. That night, Leah dreamed. She stood in a white room, alone. Then she saw it. The young Tharn. Small, hurt, locked in a cage. It looked up at her. And for the first time, it spoke. "Why didn't they love me?" Leah woke up crying. She sat up. The Tharn was still there. Watching. Waiting. She reached out her hand. It leaned forward. Their foreheads touched. And in that small moment, all the fear, pain, and war disappeared. A moment. There was peace. The Council's last message was clear. Terminate the girl. Terminate the beast. No exceptions. But Leah had made her decision. She would not run anymore, and she was no longer alone. The cave was dark. Only the soft light from Leia's broken scanner lit the small space. Outside, the world burned. The Council's Omega drones had turned the canyon into a wasteland. Rocks melted. Trees vanished. Anything living gone in seconds. But inside this cave, 2 creatures remained. A human girl, and the most feared beast in the galaxy. Leia sat on the cold stone floor, arms wrapped around her knees. Her eyes were tired, but her mind raced. She looked over at the Tharn. It sat near the entrance. Quiet, still, but not asleep. Always watching, always guarding, like it knew they would come again. "They'll never stop," Leah said. The Tharn didn't move. "They'll keep sending more drones, assassins, bombs." Still nothing. She stood. "I'm tired of hiding." She walked up to the Tharn and placed her hand on its shoulder. "I saw what they did to you," she whispered. "I saw what they made you do. But I don't believe that's who you are." The Tharn looked at her. Its red eyes glowed softly, like it understood. "We have to show them," she said. "Show the galaxy the truth." She held up the neural connector device. "It's time they see what I saw." The next morning, Leah climbed to the top of a broken ridge. The Tharn followed. She lifted a makeshift antenna, a twisted metal rod with wires, and sent a signal. "A message to everyone. My name is Leah Calder. I'm alive. I'm human. I'm with the Tharn." She paused, "and it didn't kill me. It saved me." Back on a council ship, alarms went off. "Incoming broadcast unauthorized transmission from Zalora 9. "Block it!" the commander shouted, but it was too late. Across dozens of planets, the message spread. Screens blinked, and people saw her. Leah's face filled the monitors. She looked calm but firm. "I used a neural link. I saw inside the Tharn's mind. I saw what the council did to it. They created a weapon. And when it escaped, they called it evil." The galaxy listened. "I'm not afraid of the Tharn. I'm afraid of those who tried to erase it, who are now trying to erase me too." The video showed footage, images from the Tharn's memories, cages, shocks, pain, tests, and then Leah's face, her touch, the day it didn't attack. Across the stars, reactions exploded. On mining colonies, workers watched with tears. On warships, soldiers paused their drills. On alien planets, leaders gathered in silence. Some whispered, "It understands." Others said, "The council lied." And a few muttered, "She's dangerous." Inside the cave, Leah lowered the transmitter. Her hand shook. "They'll come harder now," she said. The Tharn stood beside her, but this time it looked proud. That night, something changed. The Tharn didn't sleep by the door. It sat beside her, like an equal, like a partner. 3 days passed. No ships came. No bombs. Only silence. But it wasn't peace. It was planning. Deep in space, the council held a secret meeting. 12 members. All in shadows. The video reached 52 systems. One said, "Public support for the girl is rising," said another. "This is not about a girl," the leaders snapped. "This is about control. If the Tharn is seen as good, what happens next?" No one spoke. Then someone asked, "What if we used her?" The room froze. "What do you mean?" "She controls the Tharn. Or maybe the Tharn respects her. What if we bring her in, quietly, let her believe she's helping? And when the time comes?" The sentence hung in the air. Silence answered. Then, "Approved." Back on Zalora 9, a ship arrived, but not a warship. A white, unarmed medical craft. It hovered quietly, then landed near the ruined canyon. Leah stepped out of the cave and stared. Doors opened. A woman stepped out. Human, clean uniform. No weapons. She smiled. "Leah Calder?" Leah nodded, cautious. "I'm Dr. Wren. I've come to talk." Leah looked at the THARN. It stayed behind. Watching. Always watching. Inside the ship, Dr. Wren sat across from her. "You're brave," she said softly. "Not many people would do what you did." "I didn't do anything special," Leah replied. "I just saw the truth." The doctor nodded. "You connected with a creature that terrified the galaxy. That makes you special." Leah leaned forward. "Why are you here?" The doctor paused. "Because we believe you might be the key." "The key to what? To peace?" Leah narrowed her eyes. "You want to use me?" "No," the doctor smiled. "We want to work with you." Outside, the Tharn's claws tapped the ground slowly. It didn't trust the ship, didn't trust the silence. Inside, the doctor continued. "You said it yourself. The Tharn listens to you. You've made it stop killing. That means you've done something no one else ever has." Leah crossed her arms. "And what? You want to make me its leash?" The doctor smiled gently. No, we want to make you a bridge. Leia stood. I'll think about it. She returned to the cave. The Tharn was waiting. She sat beside it. They want to use us, she said, but they're not sure how. The Tharn didn't blink. Leia looked at her hands. If we agree, we'll be on every screen, every planet. Watched, judged, feared. She looked up. But maybe it's the only way to stop the war. The Tharn lowered its head slightly. A silent answer. The next day, Leia stepped back onto the ship. She gave one answer. I'll help. But I don't follow your orders. I speak for both of us. The doctor hesitated. Then nodded. Across the galaxy. A new transmission was prepared. Leia stood in front of a camera. Beside her, the THARN. No cage. No chains. Just two figures. Together. She spoke clearly. I know what the council did. And I know what the Tharn suffered. I also know it chose not to hurt me, even when it could have. She placed her hand on the Tharn's arm. I don't control it. I respect it, and maybe that's all it ever wanted. Some cheered, some cried. Others shouted in anger. But one thing was now clear. The galaxy's deadliest beast had changed. And all because of a girl. The news had spread across the galaxy. Every species, every system, every soldier knew her name now. Leia called her. And beside her, in every image, stood the thing no one dared to name with kindness. The THARN. No longer the killer, no longer the weapon. Now they called it something new, the companion. But not everyone was ready to accept that. In a dark war room, on a cold moon far from Earth, angry voices filled the air. He hesitated. Shouted General Vorik, slamming his fist on the table. The Tharn could have destroyed her. It didn't. Another general growled. We trained it to kill. What stopped it? She did. A whisper came from the back. An admiral stood. She changed it. And now, she's changing others. Vorik leaned forward, eyes sharp. Then let's test this new piece. Planet EKAR is -7. A war-torn world, once beautiful, now rubble and fire. For years, the Tharn had hunted here. It had left whole cities in silence. And now, Leia was sent here. Council had approved a peace tour to test her bond with the beast. But what she didn't know was that someone was waiting. The ship landed in a broken field of ash. Leia stepped out, wrapped in a dusty cloak. Behind her, the Tharn walked calmly. Locals watched from hiding. Children peeked from behind burned buildings. Soldiers lowered their weapons, unsure what to believe. Woman approached slowly. Her arm was wrapped in bandages. Her voice was cold. You brought it here? Leia nodded. The woman spat on the ground. That thing killed my brother. The Tharn stood still. No growl. No movement. Just stillness. Leia stepped forward. I know what it did. I'm not here to ask for forgiveness. I'm here to offer a future. The woman laughed bitterly. There's no future with monsters. Then she walked away. Later that day, Leia sat near a dry riverbed. The Tharn beside her. She didn't speak for a long time. Then she whispered, They'll never forget what you did. The Tharn looked at her, silent, and maybe they shouldn't. She placed her hand on the ground. But they should know what you've become. That night, a child wandered out from the shadows, small, thin, eyes wide. He stood just 10 steps from the Tharn. He was shaking, but he didn't run. Leia watched silently. The Tharn stared. Then slowly, the child walked forward and held out a flower. Dead flower, but still a gift. The Tharn looked down at it. Then did something no one expected. It bowed. Not deep, but enough. The child smiled. And for the first time in years, laughter returned to the field. The next morning, the village was quiet again. But this time, not from fear. People watched the Tharn as it helped lift wreckage, clear debris, move heavy stones. Leia guided it gently. And the people slowly came closer. Some even handed it tools. By noon, a crowd had gathered, not to fight, but to help. Then, the sky cracked, a sound like thunder, a ship, but not one from the council. It was a mercenary dropship painted black, with red war marks. The iron blades. Pirates, slavers, killers, and they weren't here for peace. Move! Shouted one. Villager. Panic exploded. Men grabbed old weapons. Children screamed. Leah turned. The Tharn was already standing between the people and the landing site. The ship touched down hard. Out stepped 5 figures. Big, armed. Their leader had a metal jaw and a voice like broken glass. "We heard there's a prize here," he grinned. "A girl and her pet." He looked at the villagers. "Step aside. No need to die for something that doesn't care about you." Leah walked forward. Hands raised. "This isn't your fight." The mercenary leader laughed. "It is now. Council wants you gone, but they can't touch you directly." He raised his gun. "So we'll do it for them." A single shot rang out. The bullet flew fast, straight right toward Lia's chest, but it never hit her. The Tharn moved, too fast to see. The bullet struck its shoulder. It didn't flinch. Then it charged. The first mercenary didn't even scream, just vanished into a wall. The second fired a grenade. The Tharn leapt. It exploded mid-air. Dust filled the sky. Leah shielded her eyes when it cleared. The Tharn stood there. Smoke rising from its back. Armor cracked. But alive. And angry. The leader raised a special weapon, Void Cannon. Direct hit equals instant erasure. He fired. The beam blasted forward, but then something happened. The Tharn stopped. It didn't dodge, didn't attack. Just stood still. The beam hit. The dust flew. Lia screamed. Then silence. When it cleared, the Tharn still stood. Burned, bleeding, but its claws had not moved. And the pirate leader? Still alive, confused, terrified. The Tharn looked down at him. One move. That's all it would take. Everyone knew it. The village held its breath, even Lia. But the Tharn did not kill. Instead, it stepped aside, turned its back, and walked to Lia's side. The pirate fell to his knees, then ran. No one spoke. The moment was too big. Too strange. Too powerful. Leah looked up at the creature beside her. "You didn't strike back." The Tharn lowered its head. Not in defeat. In control. And the people around them, those who once feared it, began to clap, softly at first. Then louder. Because for the first time, the monster had a choice, and it chose mercy. Across the galaxy. The video spread. Again. The beast that once brought death had spared a killer. On council stations, the mood shifted. Some shouted, "He's broken protocol." Others whispered, "He's learning." A few stared in silence. And for the first time felt afraid. Not of the beast. But of what it meant. Change. Leah sat by the riverbed again that night. She leaned against the Tharn's side. "They won't stop trying," she said softly, "but they can't stop us." The Tharn looked at the stars. And for the first time, it felt something close to hope. The video of the Tharn's mercy spread faster than light. Every planet, every outpost, every shadow corner of the galaxy had seen it now. The monster had spared a killer, and that moment changed everything. Young soldiers whispered, "It isn't just a weapon anymore." Children pretended to be Leah and the Tharn in alley games. Old leaders sat in silence, unsure if the world they built could survive this new truth. But one place was not silent. One place boiled with rage. The High Council. 12 dark chairs. 12 angry voices. "This cannot continue," one said. "The girl is untrained." Another barked, "She's waking something dangerous inside the beast." Then the head counselor stood. Her voice was calm. Cold. "We created the Tharn to destroy. Now it protects. That is not evolution. That is rebellion." A long pause. Then she spoke the words that changed everything. Deliver the final protocol. Far away, on a quiet cliffside, Leah stood next to the Tharn. The sun was rising. Villagers below waved. The ruins were healing. But her heart felt heavy. The silence in the air wasn't peace. It was the kind that comes before a storm. Then her communicator buzzed. She answered. A familiar voice spoke. Leah called her. This is Admiral Vec of the Council's Inner Circle. We have watched your broadcasts. She didn't speak. He continued. We believe your actions, while noble, have caused more harm than good. There are riots, there are defections, there is chaos. Leah finally replied, the truth often causes that. A pause. Then Vec said, you are ordered to return the Tharn to custody, immediately. Leah frowned. You're joking. This is not a request. This is the Council's final warning. Return it, or be marked as a galactic traitor. The communicator cut off. She looked at the Tharn. Its red eyes blinked slowly, like it already knew. They're afraid, she whispered. The Tharn lowered its head. Later that day, Leah stood before the village. The Council gave me an order, she said, but they didn't give me a choice. People looked confused. They want the Tharn, locked away, silenced, forever. A child shouted, but he saved us. Others nodded. An old man stepped forward. You won't give in to them, will you? Leah shook her head. No. That night, she and the Tharn packed. They couldn't stay, not with what was coming. They'll send something worse, she whispered. The Tharn looked at the stars again, like it remembered something. Long ago. Something painful. They didn't have to wait long. The next day, the sky turned red. Clouds burned, and through them came the Council's final protocol. A ship like no other. Dark as shadow. Silent as death. It didn't fire weapons. It didn't land. It just opened and released one thing. Another Tharn, but not like Leia's companion. This one wore black armor bolted into its skin, chains wrapped around its arms. Its eyes were dead. It had no name, only a code. TH-07. Council's last creation. The last killer. It landed with a crash in the village square. Dust flew. People screamed. Leah ran out with her. THARN. And the two monsters faced each other. The difference was clear. One free, one living, one empty. The Council's message played from the sky. Leah called her. This unit has been deployed to bring your companion into custody. Do not interfere. Then silence. Leah looked at the Tharn beside her. I won't let them take you. But it gently moved in front of her, like it wanted to speak but had no voice. Then it stepped forward, toward the other Tharn. The crowd held its breath. Then the HO7. Attack. Fast. Brutal. A claw slashed Leah's Tharn. Blocked. Stone cracked under their feet. The fight was not just strength. It was spirit versus emptiness. Heart versus hate. Leah wanted to stop it. She screamed, but they didn't listen. Blood hit the ground. Chains clanged. The black-armored Tharn roared a sound like tearing metal, but Leah's Tharn didn't give in. It refused to kill, even when it had the upper hand, even when it could end it. It stopped and held out its hand. To the other, for a second. Nothing. Then those seven struck again. A deep blow. Straight through the side. Leah screamed. The free Tharn stumbled. Blood poured. But it did not fall. It looked at its attacker and gently placed its hand on the other's chest, right over where a heart used to beat. The black Tharn stopped moving. Its claw shook. Then just for a second, its red eyes flickered. From empty to unsure. Like something inside it blinked awake. Then the sky voice returned. Termination. TH-07 has failed protocol. From above, the final protocol ship charged its main cannon. Target. Both Tharns. Leah ran forward. No! The people screamed. The sky glowed, but before the beam fired, Leah's Tharn moved. It grabbed the black one and jumped. High. Into the air. The cannon fired. Light brighter than the sun. And when the dust cleared, they were gone. No bodies. No sound. Only silence. And falling ash. Leah dropped to her knees. Tears rolled down her face. Villagers rushed to her. The child from before placed a hand on her shoulder. He saved him, the boy said. Leah nodded. Double quotes. Yes, he did. Across the galaxy, news spread again. Not of a killing, but of a sacrifice. A monster who gave up everything to save its enemy. Some said the Tharn died a hero. Others whispered, maybe it lived. Maybe it escaped into the stars. Watching. Waiting. But one thing was now forever true. The galaxy's deadliest beast had refused the council. And the girl? She had given it a soul. The stars above planet Icarus 7 were quiet. But below, the people were not. Days had passed since the final protocol attack. Since the Tharn had vanished with its clone. Since Leah had dropped to her knees, screaming into dust. Some believed it died. Some prayed it lived. But Leah, she hadn't moved on. She couldn't. She knew what she felt that day, that it wasn't the end. She sat each night by the riverbed. Her hand touched the broken soil where her Tharn had stood. She said nothing. She only waited. One morning, something strange happened. A soft sound, like a pulse coming from the riverbed itself. She looked down. The dirt was glowing. She dug fast with her bare hands. Just beneath the surface, she found a small black cube. Old, smooth, warm to the touch. She held it tight, and it hummed. Back in her quarters, she scanned it. The device was ancient, older than the Tharn itself, but its signal matched his biosignature. Her Tharn had planted this before the battle. Why? She connected the cube to her reader, and suddenly, a voice played. Not words, not a language, but a series of low pulses, patterns, tones, deep, rumbling sounds, almost like a beast whispering in its own tongue. The eye translated slowly. Words formed, broken, fuzzy, but real. I. Remember. The stars, the chains, then her voice. Not command, not order, choice. Leia's heart stopped. It was from him. She listened to the message over and over. Each pulse brought more data, more memories. He had left it for her, but also for others. Buried in the code was something else. Colon coordinates. Leia showed them to her closest. All eyes in the village. One older woman, a former star cartographer, frowned. These stars don't exist anymore, not as they once did. Leah leaned in. But they did? The woman nodded. A long time ago. Before the great collapse. Leah stood. We're going. The next morning, a ship lifted from EKAR is-7. Not a warship. A salvaged freighter, painted white. It had no weapons. Only fuel, hope, and one name etched across the side. Memory. The journey took a week, through dead sectors, through ion storms, through space forgotten by maps. Every night, Leah listened to the cube again, and every night, it played one more message. The Tharn had left a trail, not of violence, but of truth. Finally, the ship reached its destination, a broken moon, split in half like an egg, orbiting a star so old. Its light flickered like a candle. The moon was marked by massive carvings. Symbols that matched those on the Tharn's body. They landed. The air was thin. The ground was black stone. And in the center of the cracked moon stood a structure. Old. Silent. But alive. Inside were walls covered in carvings. Leah and her crew walked carefully. Each symbol glowed as they passed. Then the cube in her hand pulsed again. She held it up. It clicked. And the walls came alive. Hologram filled the room. Not a video, but a memory. Thousands of Tharn. Not in chains. Not killing, but building. Helping. Living with others. Peacefully. Then, the scene changed. Warships arrived. Screams. Chains. Burning. And one by one, the Tharn were taken. The final image froze. A younger version of her THARN. Collared. Dragging. Another beast behind it. Eyes empty. Soul gone. Leah covered her mouth. Tears filled her eyes. They were never monsters. She whispered, they were made into monsters. A second cube unlocked in her pocket. She didn't remember placing it there. She opened it. This time, the voice was clear. Not tones, not noise, but words, real words. I was not born to kill, I was taught. But she untaught. May, she gave me my name, not with letters, with trust. Silence filled the chamber. Then another set of coordinates flashed. One word blinked. Them. Leah stared. There are more, she whispered. The Tharn she loved wasn't the last. Others might still exist, hiding, locked away, or worse still, killing without knowing who they truly are. She turned to her crew. We can't stop. They nodded. We won't. The council, however, had not been idle. They knew Leah was missing. They knew the final protocol had failed, and they had seen the old symbols glow again from space. The High Counselor stood before a black mirror. Her infection is spreading, she said coldly. Another figure in shadows replied, then it's time to burn it out. The council activated Project Erasure, a full wipe. Every archive, every trace of the Tharn's origin, all history deleted. Every memory vanished, every beast still active marked for death. But Leah had something they didn't, the truth, and the last gift of the Tharn who refused to be a monster. Her ship turned toward the stars. The next system waited. She had no army. No weapons. Only old coordinates. And a message of peace from a beast that once brought war. And at a quiet place between stars, where no light reached. Two red eyes opened again. The ship memory moved through the last sector. Leah stood at the window, her eyes locked on the stars ahead. Behind her, her small crew was silent, waiting. The last coordinates had led them here, an empty sector. No planets, no moons. Just space. But the cube in Leah's hand pulsed again. Faster. Then it stopped. The stars outside began to shift. Open scanner, she said. The pilot obeyed. The scanner blinked, then froze. Everyone leaned forward. There's something here, the pilot whispered. It's big. And then it appeared, like a ghost breaking through mist. A hidden station. Old, massive, covered in black armor, floating quietly in space. The cube buzzed in Leah's palm like a heartbeat. They docked. The doors opened with a hiss. No guards. No defenses. Just cold silence. Inside, the air was still, and on the walls, names, thousands of them, carved in alien script. But one name was glowing, one name only. Leah could read, because it wasn't in Tharn symbols. It was written in her handwriting. Kale. Leah's heart skipped. That was the name she had once whispered when the Tharn watched the stars beside her. She didn't know why she'd said it back then. It just felt right. Now she knew. He had accepted it and carved it in stone. As she walked deeper into the station, more lights turned on. Not from power, from recognition. It knew her. It knew who she was and who she had changed. Then she saw it. A tall black door. It slid open. Inside was a large chamber. Empty, except for one thing. A stasis pod. Inside him. Kale. The Tharn, but different. No armor, no scars, no rage. Just peace, like he was sleeping. Waiting. Leah ran to the pod. Her fingers shook as she touched the glass. Suddenly, the cube in her hand broke apart. Its pieces flew into the pod's control panel. Lights flared, and then the Tharn's eyes opened, red, deep, but no longer wild. He stepped out slowly. He was taller than she remembered. Stronger. But gentler. Like a shadow that had finally become whole. He looked at her. And for the first time, he spoke. I chose the name. Leah's knees went weak. The room was silent. The others behind her gasped. He had a voice, rough, deep, but calm. She stepped forward. You're alive. He nodded. I had to hide. The other helped me. You saved him. Yes, he remembered. I made him remember. Leah placed her hand on his chest. No more chains. No more scars. You remembered too. I remembered. May. He looked around the chamber. This place was built for us. Long ago. Before we were turned into weapons. He stepped toward a console, placed his hand on it. The walls glowed. Holograms filled the air. Dozens of other Tharn, some chained, some free, and one word above all of them. Awaken. Leah's breath caught. You're going to wake them? He looked at her. No, we are. Back at the council, alarms blared. The last protocol station had been triggered, and the counselor's face twisted in fear. He's alive. A soldier. Burst into the room. More Tharn are waking. Where? Everywhere. Across the galaxy, in hidden places. In ruins, in abandoned ships. In ancient vaults. The Tharn were waking up, but they weren't roaring. They weren't killing. They were remembering, and at the center of it all was Kale. He stood with Leah beside a new beacon, not a weapon, not a prison, a signal broadcasting the truth. We were not born to destroy. We were taught pain, but one voice broke the silence and gave us names. The galaxy watched. Some were afraid, some were confused, but many were hopeful. And then something strange happened. Other species came forward, aliens who had once hated. The Tharn, they told stories too, of Tharn who had spared lives, helped children, protected the weak. The stories had been buried, hidden by fear. Now, they came out, because truth had a voice again. The council tried to stop it. They sent assassins. They sent bombs. They sent lies. But none of it worked, because for the first time in history, the Tharn didn't fight back. They stood. They showed their scars, their history, and they told the truth. Kale became a symbol. Not of fear, not of war, but of forgiveness. And Leia? She stayed beside him. She didn't lead armies. She didn't rule planets. She just spoke when others stayed silent. One day, a young alien child approached Kale. Were you really the deadliest beast in the galaxy? The child asked. Kale kneeled down. Yes, he said, but not anymore. The child looked confused. What are you now? He smiled, looked at Leah. Then back at the stars, and answered, free. The end.